Hi, welcome to Mortality and Tea. I'm your host, Amy. This is a show where we explore the topic of death in hopes that we can find a more rich and juicy life. Today on the show, I have Etha Walters. She is a writer, poet, and podcast host with a wheelchair view and tons of projects. And one of her projects is her podcast. One of her podcasts is called Uncomplicated, and she has another upcoming podcast called Echoes Through Corridors, named after her first poetry book called Echoes Through Corridors, Silence and Rooms. She also recently became a crisis counselor with the Crisis text line. Her hobbies include dance, writing, photography, and most recently started developing her green thumb. Spiritually, she practices Tai Chi, meditation, and breathing techniques, and takes a holistic and intentional approach to her health and life in general. Her second poetry book, called Songs from the Back Seat, will be coming out sometime this year. To learn more about Etha, visit her website at www.ethawalters.com. That's www.ethawalters.com. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Etha Walters. Mortality and Tea with Amy. Hi, Etha. Welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
How are you feeling today?
I'm great, thanks. I got my sleep. I work nights as a crisis counselor, and so I'm online with my texters from 12 to 4. And so I get to bed about 5 or anywhere between 5 and 7, depending on how long it takes me to, wind down. But yeah, it's really rewarding, and I slept in today, so I'm doing great.
Oh, good. Do you have a cup of tea or coffee with you?
I have coffee with vanilla and cinnamon. It's my favorite soothing treat, and it's decaffeinated so that it doesn't interfere with that soothing sensation of the vanilla and cinnamon.
Right.
My whole house smells like vanilla and cinnamon. All the time, I think.
Wonderful. Well, I'll go ahead. We'll just dive into the first question if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. So tell me, take me on an adventure of what might your ideal death experience look like or feel like.
Well, if I can't die in my sleep in the arms of my lover, which I think most people dream about when they think about their death, I would like to imagine spending the day with my family, having a great time, and everybody leaving, and my going to bed. I might feel a little weird. My blood pressure might be elevated, and I would call paramedics in advance so that they wouldn't have to, my family wouldn't have to witness that. I really don't want somebody that I love to witness that unless maybe they're enlightened or experienced in, walking people to that door of what comes next. I would never want, to put that on anybody that I love.
Okay. But your ideal would be to be in the arms of your lover then.
Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah. And of course, it would have to be a Notebook kind of way. We would have to die at the same time.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I mean,
I love that movie.
So, we don't have to live without each other and all of that, but, that's not, I don't even have one right now. So, that's probably not how it's going to go, but I mean, it could. Who knows? It's a good fantasy, but yeah. I think we all want to be connected to somebody. When we leave, we want somebody there to wave goodbye as we get into our vehicle and close the door and drive away or fly away or however you choose to view it. I think we all want somebody there, but I wouldn't want somebody that I love to witness my suffering or my passing. Unless, I'm just gone. Like, of course, they'd be there to deal with the aftermath, and I don't wish that on them either.
So in your ideal experience, then, take me on a journey of that I'd heard you say about your last day where you'd spend time with your family. What kinds of things would you be doing?
Well, with my son, I would probably be playing video games.
Yeah.
Because that is his thing. He loves video games. He would like for me to go on a hot pepper journey with him, but that's not going to happen because hot spices are not my thing. He has a show called the Pepper Boys that he does with his son, and they go out, they're on search of the hottest peppers on earth, and Etha does not do that. So video games it is.
Otherwise, the peppers could be the death of you,
That would be the cause of death. For sure. And my girls, my daughters, I actually embrace the idea of a big old picnic. We all love to eat. So, a big picnic at Smith Park, or hopefully by that time, I'll have a big old yard with a big old dog and just make it about home. And there, all of those things can happen. We can make a good big meal, and I could play video games, and I could play with my grandchildren, and hopefully my great-grandchildren. Because I'm not planning for this to happen anytime soon.
Well, this is your ideal experience, so it can be whatever age you want it to be.
I'm going to be older than dirt.
So
I want to experience everything of this life. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
You'll experience everything, just not the hot peppers, right?
Just not the hot peppers.
Or maybe
and snakes. I can go without snakes. Yeah. I have no desire to mess with snakes. I'm getting a little better about it. And spiders was my biggest fear, but now it's snakes. And I'm trying to overcome things as we go. I'm not there yet, but maybe one day. But yeah, I'm not touching snakes.
Well, okay. So speaking of touching, then touches. As I go on this journey, I also think about, or I like to ask the questions of, while you're on your deathbed, is there anything you would want to hear?
What I like is kind of trip hop. It's called trip hop, or it's ambient, or some of the Celtic music where it goes on a symphonic journey, you know, or Fantasia,
Yes.
that sort of thing,
Okay.
just I don't want something light with a lot of flutes and stuff like that where a broom is dancing around or whatever, but 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 more like the journey of going someplace deep in the woods, or deep into a forest, or by a stream, or something like
Right.
that.
So the next question I have for you, you've taken your last breath and now your body is there. Do you have anything that you would like done with your body right after you've passed? Is there anything?
I want to be a tree.
Okay.
It I don't know what the process is for that. Um, I don't want to be embalmed, because I want to go back. I want to go back to the earth, or I want to go back to the universe in whatever form, whether it be cremation, which I'm on the fence about cremation. I'm not sure about that process, or what it involves. But ideally, you want to be out in the woods. So I would, or out, if I lived in my own house out, towards the country, being buried at home. I know my family would like me at the family plot.
Okay.
Which I don't want to disrespect their wishes, but I would really like my body to be something of value to the earth, other than being stuffed in a box that's going to be there for hundreds of years. Just I want it to disintegrate. I want it to go. I want,
Yes.
and I don't I I don't want to be memorialized, like I don't want my body memorialized, like, sitting in an urn on somebody's shelf, or something like that. Just
Okay.
I don't want to be that. I want my body to be gone.
Okay. Before they take your body for that, would there be a moment with your family with your body, or anything like that, or a ritual or a ceremony?
that is, I would prefer them to have a gathering, but not a funeral, and have my body on display. First off, if they're going to embalm me, I'm not going to look anything like I was when I was alive. And I want to encourage people to love me now. I'm here now. You can hold my hand now. You can hug me now. And it's going to be a lot warmer than me being in my casket. I'm not even gonna be there to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to love me, do it now. Don't don't wait until after I'm gone. After I'm gonna be on to the next thing.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be here. I have had 2 near-death experiences,
Okay.
and both of them were the same. You leave your body, you go out into the atmosphere. You're gone. You leave Earth. You well,
This
that's
is my next
another
question.
question. I'll
Well,
save
let's go there. No, yeah, let's go there. So the next question is, what do you believe happens after you take your last breath and the body is dead?
I think that depends on your spiritual level of growth.
Okay.
Because I do know that there are spirits here, and those people are attached to something. There's something here that they haven't dealt with yet, or not quite sure, why some people stay and some people have a harder time of letting go to this life and saying goodbye to it. I know when my friend passed away, I saw her in a dream. I was in grief. I was in and out of sleep between crying and answering phone calls and just, completely wiped, completely uh, out of it. And this kind of exhaustion are the times that most people can see other energies that walk. Is it okay if I talk about this? Or
Yes.
see other energies, see other, you have to be in that mind, in a certain mind state in order to open that door to where you can see this happen. And that usually occurs in my dreams, or that REM sleep in between being awake and asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the reasons why I don't fear death anymore. But she was pacing across my room around my bed, going down the list of all the things that she told me to do if something happened to her, which I had blown off because she was 5 years younger than me, and I did not see this coming.
Mm-hmm.
But she had gone down all this list of all the things that I was supposed to do, and I said, okay, I'll take care of it. I've got this. And boom, she was gone, and I didn't see her again. That was my one and only time. I'm not planning, depending on what's going on in my life at the time, I'm not planning on being one of those people. The 2 times that I almost died, the same thing happened. I went out of my body. I floated up to the ceiling. I floated through the ceiling. One of them was during the surgery. I was allergic to the anesthesia. The other time was during a surgery after my car accident. And that totally changed. It totally changed who I was fundamentally.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't have all the pieces. I still don't. We never have all the pieces until we're ready to move on. But I caught a glimpse. I I know that there's something after this. I was there long enough to know that this isn't it. There's there's more to it. And I just believe that we all have different levels of spiritual growth. And the people on the lower levels that have more lessons to learn and more things to deal with come back in another life.
Mm-hmm.
And those who progress go on to something else. I mean, it depends on where the lesson lies.
Mm.
Next time I can go to Mars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who know, or a completely different universe, a parallel universe. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Who knows? All I know is that there is.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. So the next question I have, is there anything that you regret in your life so far not having done?
One of the things that I wish I had done that I didn't do in my youth, I wish I had accepted my disability and who I was sooner, and accepted me and loved me sooner, instead of trying to fit in with everybody else, and trying to fit in with normalcy and what other people were doing and expected of me. I mean, as a disabled child, I was stereotyped into Jerry's kids. I never wanted to be that object of pity that I always hated. I hated it. I hated it with a passion. Him leaning down over a child in a wheelchair, sobbing, begging for money for all of the little crippled kids. Oh, that just irritated the heck out of me.
Oh.
And so I really had the mindset of you're going to have to embrace this. And yes. I was willing to change my clothes, my hair, the way that I spoke, anything, but you was going to accept this, my disability and all. And it was a really hard process for me as a teenager.
And what is your disability for our viewers and listeners?
The technical term is post-encephalitis syndrome.
Okay.
Which I was born normal, and I went into convulsions at 10 months old. I had a fever that caused my brain to swell, and it caused some brain damage, they said, but they couldn't find any brain damage later. So they slapped cerebral palsy on it, because normally cerebral palsy happens in the womb, but I was 10 months old at onset, and they believed it happened because of encephalitis, but they couldn't find any brain damage. They couldn't find any medical reasoning as to what happened to me or why I am like I am. I'm a mystery.
Ooh, I love that.
And in the grand scheme of things, it's not something that's going to progressively get worse. other than, getting older. If I don't take care of myself, of course, things are going to be harder, but I'm working on that. I'm working on that.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And my last question then for you is, what is a regret that you do have that you have done in life?
I thought about a lot about this, and the sensible thing for me to say would be that I got married and had children before I went to college and all of that stuff. But the enlightened person of me says that all of the decisions, even the most painful decisions that I've made that have had the greatest complications, the greatest consequences, have taught me something and brought me to where I am right now in my spiritual growth. If I changed any of that, it would change my kids, it would change me, it would change everything. And the sacrifices of my journey and where I'm going and where I am right now, I'm not sure that the outcome of changing any of those things would make things better right now. Things happened the way that they did, and I've been able to grow through that, despite that. And no matter what, we're not perfect. We're human. We're going to make mistakes, and that's how we learn. That's how we grow. We learn what we want in our lives by experiencing all of the things that we don't want in our lives.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. As much as I would like to redo things in the time, the lessons that it's given me later has been worth it. Because it makes me a deeper person to be able to connect with other people, and that's what's most important to me is connecting, is being a part of other people, like my family and the people of Earth and the universe. That the connection, it's everything.
Yes. Wow, I really want to thank Etha Walters for joining me for Mortality and Tea. This was, again, another enriching conversation. I learned so much from this show. I hope that you, the viewers and listeners, learn as much from this show too. One of the things I took away from this is, if you want to love me, do it now. If you want to love me, do it now while I'm alive. Don't wait. Love people. Find a rich and juicy life. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye. Mortality and Tea with Amy.